everybody, it's the Maurice Brown Show Sports Edition, playing a little pitch and catch with my nephew, Caleb.
Hey guys.
He's the next Jerry Rice. Want to show him?
Yeah,
let's
go.
It. You're gonna love this. Ready, set, go! Let's start the show. Yeah, let's start the show. And hey, everybody, it's Maurice Brown. That's Caleb at the bottom screen there. He's 15 now. You're probably 11 at that time, right, Caleb?
Around there.
Around there. Caleb now is kicking for his high school, John Carroll High School in Fort Pierce, Florida, now kicking 50, 55 yards out in the 10th grade. So he's a national prospect. He's going to be kicking at one of the Power 5 schools in about 2 years. And we also welcome Antoine, real Stewart. What's up, Stu? It's been a minute.
What's going on, fellas? It's been too long.
And man, do we have a lot to talk about. And we can talk about some of the scores that went down last week. I mean, you know, some of the mundane scores: Carolina 27-24 over Miami, Tennessee 22-21 over the Cardinals. You know, that another comedy show. And then we had the Washington Commanders 27-10 over the Chargers. But then there were some notable games. I won't bore the audience with all of those, but we had some notable games where we got to chew on for a little bit. One of them involves your team, Stu, from last Thursday night on Thursday Night Football in Los Angeles. The 49ers go in there with a backup Mac Jones, and they win the ball game 26-23. Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw that one coming. What would be your thoughts on the final there, Stu?
Oh yeah, man, it definitely was a hard-fought game, and a lot of people forget that in these division games, you could have a worse team or a banged-up team and end up beating your division rival, because both of these teams know each other, the coaching staffs know each other, you know, and if you've been paying attention, the 49ers we started this thing banged up. So we've kind of like had that next man mentality since last season. Coming into this season, you know, the injury bug struck again, and it's showing you the character of the guys that are in that locker room, to where it's like, look, man, next man up. We're not going to put our heads down. We're going to go ahead and lock in and focus, because we know that with the coaching, and this is why coaching matters. I'm going to say this again. Coaching matters, because well-coached teams and teams that have a lot of talent, you may not know the names, but if the general manager and the head coach do a great job at drafting quality talent in the building, you know, you may not know this guy, but he's there for a reason, and he's there to show you that, you know, he may not be a superstar or do it consistently, but a game or two, he can show up and show out. And I think that's what we did.
So, Caleb, what are your thoughts? No one saw this coming. You know, Mac Jones goes in to Los Angeles, one of the hottest teams in the NFL, and on their turf, get the W. What are your thoughts?
I think, as you said, Mac Jones, he stepped up. He put on a pretty good game. As a quarterback, you need to lead out the offense. And it was a hard-fought game. It came down to a field goal, as y'all see. And, I mean, both of these teams are great teams. I don't think it's going to be – I think it's going to be a wake-up for the Rams, just to shake them up a little bit, get them back on that grind, because they've been having a good season so far. But in general, it's a good win for the 49ers. And I feel like it's just a little bit of a wake-up call for the Rams.
So I'm going to go back to you real quick, Stu, as we stay on this topic for a quick second before I move on to these other notable scores. Should the 49ers consider going with Mac Jones as the new starter?
Absolutely not. I look at it like, you know, you remember when Cooper Rush won those 4 back-to-back games for Dallas when Dak was hurt?
Yes.
Matt, and I'm not saying that Mac Jones can't be a starter. Absolutely, with the right team in the right situation, with the right coaching, because we've seen him in New England, right? We've
Yeah.
seen him as a starter, but he can definitely be a starter. But one thing that we don't know that we know about Brock is postseason.
Yeah.
Brock has taken the 49ers to 2 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl. That means he can win in the postseason. Quick little nugget. Even though I would never compare Brock Purdy to Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar Jackson is just a whirlwind talent. He's in his own
Yeah.
class of his own, right?
No
But
doubt.
Brock Purdy has more postseason wins than Lamar Jackson. That's just a fact. So, and Lamar has been in the league for 8 years, got 2 MVPs. He's a vet. He should have way more postseason wins than he does. But what I'm saying all that to say that we know what we're getting with Brock, and we know that he can take us to the show. He's done it before. He can win in the postseason. We know. Matt comes in there. Brock is hurt. He shouldn't have played the game he played. Turf toe is a serious thing. Look at Joe Burrows. Look at Deion Sanders. You know, and he was able to come in there and try to give it his all. And the team let him down. 6+ drop passes. The last game we should be undefeated. If it wasn't for a couple of those drop passes that were touchdown passes.
Yeah.
But absolutely not. But I will say this. If Matt keeps playing the way that he is playing, it will be like another situation to where teams are going to be knocking like, hey, we want to make him our starter, and he'll be a starter somewhere else. But the 49ers are already all in on the Brock Purdy show. He's gotten a big contract. He wins in the postseason. This is who they chose. Mac is just there to win games like any backup while the starter's out. And he looks great. And while he's doing it, you're putting on tape for other teams to be a potential starter there. If you look at what's going on in Las Vegas, if you look at what's going on in Seattle, those 2 quarterbacks have gone through their share of ups and downs in his league and have been able to put great film on tape so that they can get a position or opportunity to be a starting quarterback again. And they've made the best of those opportunities. And I think Brock will get another chance. I just hope that it's on a team that knows what to do with him, around some great coaches, and in more of a winning culture that he's in now. I know New England had a winning culture, but when Brady and Belichick left, everything started from ground zero. So they had to learn everything over again. So I just hope that when he gets his shot to start again, that he'll be on a team that will put him in the best position to look good and to win football games.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching KCHFTV.org in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Christ honoring television. I'm going to flip the same question to you, Caleb. Should the 49ers consider going with Mac Jones as the new starter?
I think the key word here is consider. As Stu said, it's the Brock Purdy show. It's been
right
since he came in and beat Tom Brady. I think it was 2023 in his first start ever. And he's gotten his money. It's his team at the end of the day. I bet he's the locker room leader. But if I was Brock Purdy and I see my backup quarterback throw for 300 plus yards and go win a game in OT, it'd light a fire in me because I'd be scared of him taking a job.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I would like. I know it probably won't happen. As Stu said, it's his team, it's Brock Purdy's team, but it's always good to have competition in your own facility.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what it's going to produce. It's going to produce a better quality of play. Mac Jones has been in the league a little bit longer than Brock. I think this might open his eyes to what he can teach him and what Brock can get from Mac. And we forget that Mac Jones, he's been a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
He's been a Pro Bowler.
Actually.
He's not a bad quarterback. He he's had flashes, and as just like Daniel Jones, what he's doing for the Colts right now. If Mac Jones goes to a team that's only missing a quarterback, he can do great things, and we've seen that.
Yeah.
I think what the 49ers do now is they use this as a building block to better Brock Purdy's play and just to use him as a team player.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I say all of that, we had another shocker. The Broncos over the Eagles 21-17. This was in Philly. And no one really saw that one coming. And I question that begs on this one is the offensive philosophy. Even though the Eagles are 4-1, the issues don't seem to be focusing more on their inability to win games as much as not winning the way they did last year, which was with Saquon Barkley. Why, Stu, is Saquon Barkley no longer seemingly the focus of the Philadelphia attack?
Probably because a lot of defenses have been, making that their focal point and making that the main mission is to stop Saquon. So I guess Philly's like, if you're gonna sell out to stop Saquon, we're gonna pass. But at the end of the day, I'm from the school of I'm gonna do what I do best, and you do what you do, and try to stop it. Now, if you stop it, I'll make adjustments, but I'm not gonna come in and overanalyze the situation and say, well, they know we're going to run, so let's pass. Like, no, they know we're going to run. Let's see them stop it. If you show me you can stop it, I'll have a plan B for you. But I think that they're getting out of their game. I don't know if the chatter and the talk of, Hurts being under a lot of scrutiny, is he in the top 10? Is he out of the top 10? A lot of people say, like, Cam Newton was like, hey, he's like, look, I said it to Hurts' face. He said, Hurts could be a top 10 quarterback, but I don't think he is right now because of what's around him. He has the best offensive line in the league. He got the best running back in the league. You got weapons everywhere. You're not asked to do too much. Just play within the system, make your plays, and cool. If he was in a different scenario, absolutely he could be that guy if he had to be, but right now he's not asked to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think they need to find their identity. The good thing about their situation is you only got one loss and you're figuring it out, just like the 49ers. We're figuring it out, and we're not losing. So that gives you a chance that when you do lock in, when they do get in their rhythm and their groove with Saquon, getting AJ Brown more involved, when all of these things start to click, they're going to be almost unstoppable, or they're going to be a tough team to deal with. Because when you win games, when you don't have everything clicking, it's scary because you always think like, okay, when they do get clicking, we've said this about Mahomes and we've said this about Baltimore and other teams in the past. If they're winning, not playing their best football, when they finally figure it out and they get in that groove, they're going to be extremely difficult to beat. And I think that's what you're seeing with Philly right now. They're not in their groove right now, and they're still trying to figure it out. They got to get their playmakers the ball. AJ is on record. He's not happy. Figure out how to get him involved in the game plan. He's proven time in and time out that he's your best receiver. You had other great receivers as well, but got to keep your guys happy. And I think that, I don't know what's going on with that, but they got to figure it out. Other number one receivers, they don't have these issues. Their team make their coaches and their coordinators make them a priority on how we're going to feed him the ball. And I don't know what's going on with AJ and his team and everything, but they need to figure that out and figure it out soon.
Well, they do, Stu. I couldn't agree with you more because you're talking about a conference that's got some juggernauts in it. And to be totally honest with you, the Eagles should have lost a couple of ball games. They're lucky, really, to be 4-1. A lot of people forget the Cowboys stood up against them to open the season. I mean, they won 24-20. That was a game. And they got the win. The Bucks, which team was it that they blocked the field goal at the end? I think it was the Bucks. That was a lucky win. They could have lost that. Let me just tell you something right now. This Nick Sirianni genius stuff needs to stop. It's Saquon Barkley. He
Mm-hmm.
got you the chip because you gave him the ball. I don't care if people will line up. I dare you to stop Saquon. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm giving it to Saquon. So to try, Jalen Hurts is not that kind of quarterback. I mean, Cam Newton said it, and I agree with Cam. He's a good QB. But if you try to hand the ball to Jalen and say, just go win it by throwing, it ain't going to happen. I mean, he misses A.J. Brown all the time. I mean, overshoots A.J. all the time. A.J. has his guy beat by 5 yards, and he still overthrows A.J. He's a good quarterback, but you can't expect Jalen. You didn't get a championship because of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts benefited from Saquon Barkley running the ball, and he was able to do other things well. But he's just not the kind of guy. And Nick Sirianni is not a play calling genius. Saquon Barkley. Caleb, your thoughts?
Exactly. If you rewatch the Super Bowl without like all the excitement, you see how terrified the Chiefs were of Saquon Barkley. They were loading the box all game.
Yeah.
And they won that game because of that fact. The Chiefs, they had watched every single piece of film and they had seen he's going to pick us apart. He's going to bust 60+ yard runs on the regular against us if we don't commit everything. And that's how they beat the Chiefs. They were able to flip the script and then go and throw the ball, do the other things to go win that Super Bowl. This year, it's like they've forgotten that. They've forgotten their roots, and I feel like you have to blame a little bit Kevin Petula. You have to blame the coaching because it's dumb. It's dumb to me that you have the number one running back in the league right now that just put up 2,000 yards and you're not feeding him the rock. And what that does, it also closes up opportunities for your quarterback, which Jalen Hurts, he's great, but he's not the talent that you get with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, these other great quarterbacks around the league. You can't rely on him to go out and pass for you to win a football game. So the Eagles coaching staffs need to realize that. They need to change things. But you can't hate on them too much. They're winning football games, but they're winning football games because they're getting lucky.
Well, they're 4-1, and quite frankly and honestly, they have time to, as Stu alluded to earlier, they have time to kind of get things back in order. I mean, if you asked me who's got the best team in the NFL, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. When they give the ball to Saquon, just give him the ball. Let him get 25. I don't care how much they load the box. He should be getting 100, 110 yards on average a game. Feed him the rock. And then Jalen's going to kill you the other areas. And then he's going to hit AJ here, and he's going to hit his tight end underneath. And the defense is going to be stout. They're going to be number one in the league. So there's a lot of time for them to figure it out. The Jags 31-28 over the Chiefs last night on Monday Night Football. We're going to talk about the Jags a little bit more later. And then the Texans destroy a Raven team without Lamar Jackson 44-10. You would have figured that would have been a game where maybe they could have won with Cooper Rush, because the Texans haven't been world beaters, and that they just got stomped. And then you look at Buffalo losing on national TV to the New England Patriots 23-20, and I don't think the Patriots are that bad of a team. They're decent, but I don't think there's no way in the world Buffalo should have allowed the Patriots to beat them. So with that being said, we're just going to dive into our NFL headlines. There was a trade that was made today between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, sending Joe Flacco to Cincinnati to save the day because Jake Browning wasn't getting it done. Stu, what do you think about that?
That's interesting. That's an interesting trade. I think deep down inside, Cleveland is feeling the weight and the heaviness of the storm that's coming.
Yeah.
Because they've already, and by my book, done Shador wrong. Just that the NFL in its whole has done Shador wrong, right?
Yes.
And how they're managing the situation, they're doing Shador wrong. Because what third string quarterback do you know that's available to media? What third string quarterbacks are talking to the media after the game? I don't know any. We don't even know most of the third string quarterbacks. You're going to hear from the starter. You're not even going to hear from the backup unless he played. But at Cleveland, after the game, they make Shador Sanders available to media, which is second string quarterbacks usually aren't even available to media. Why is your third string? If he's just so the third string guy, you haven't featured him, you haven't made him the guy. You drafted him late, and now you didn't give him the starts. You didn't give him time with the ones like you did Gabe. You didn't. It's a lot of things that didn't happen, right? I didn't feel like he got a fair shake to even compete or the second string. If Flacco was a lock in for one, I don't think that Gabe and Shador had an equal opportunity to compete. It was kind of like, this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to make it look this way. They've been doing a piss poor job of how they've been managing the Shador Sanders show. And I think that this was a way to escape that and say, because they were feeling the heat. Media is like, okay, if Flacco is benched, why is Shador still looked at as the third quarterback? He should at least have bumped up to two if Gabriel is out there doing his thing. Shador should be number two, but you still have him listed as number three. I think this was an opportunity to get rid of that hurdle and say, look, Flacco's not even on the team anymore, so of course Shador's number two. And watch the debacle happen. And Gabriel didn't play bad. He didn't play bad at all. But I think that you can try to fool the media, you can try to fool the fans, but one thing you can't fool is the players in the locker room. They know because they've been speaking to Ocho, to Shannon Sharp, to other people who have relationships with these guys on who the best quarterback they've seen in practice is. But we have to go through this, rigmarole of how they've been introducing us these quarterbacks, and it hasn't been quite fair. So I think this was a move for Cleveland to alleviate some confusion so that Shador is the second guy. And if Gabe does horrible or if he starts to lose games and not looking his best, Shador may get a shot before the end of the season is out.
Now, I'm going to switch gears real quick, and great statements made about the situation with Shador Sanders, Stu, because it's kind of puzzling how they're handling him right now. And so I don't see anything good coming out of Cleveland. But I want to switch over to the Jets because they're 0-5 right now. And at the beginning of the year, Aaron Glenn asked Aaron Rodgers basically to leave their facility. And so I got to throw it over to you, Caleb. Did Aaron Glenn make a mistake by not having Aaron Rodgers back this year?
Did he make a mistake? I think yes. Is it a valid mistake? I also think yes, because all of us, we were dogging on A-Rod. We were telling him to hang up the cleats. We were telling him it was time to go, just buy the retirement home, and he goes to the Steelers and he's putting on a show. And I bet Aaron Glenn,
pretty much.
Yeah, he's doing great over there, and I bet Aaron Glenn is regretting it because he's getting the heat for it now. But I feel like the story really lies in, was Aaron the problem? I think not. I think that the Jets were the problem. Because if he comes out for the Jets this season, sure they may have won one or two more games, but the real core of the team, it's still be rotten.
Well,
It
it would still be rotten.
Yeah,
It would still
it's
be rotten.
not. Him coming out for them, it would not have been. It would not have been pretty. I doubt. He looks like he wants to play now. He looks like he's genuinely enjoying himself in Pittsburgh. I think it was a good move by him. I bet Aaron Glenn is taking heat for it, and it's it's deservable, but then again, it's not because I feel like we would have all made that same decision because we were
Well,
all talking bad about Aaron too.
well,
I
and
was
and
at least.
I mean, I can honestly tell you, I thought that that was a man up move by Aaron Glenn, but they're 0-5. And
Yeah.
as Lawrence Taylor said to the New York Jets every time he stomped on them, he said, "Man, y'all gotta do better than this." Anyway, let me let me just switch gears. I gotta go to you, Stu. I mean, we saw the Commanders stomp on the LA Chargers.
Mhm.
2 weeks ago, we said they were best team in the NFL. This is the second week in a row that they have lost. And the week prior to this loss was against the Jackson Dart. I don't need to say any more to it. Anyway, so now we're looking at them, we're going, what in the world? Is this the same old Chargers? And then my team, the Packers, let the woeful Cleveland Browns beat them. And then they tied the Dallas Cowboys, and we said they were world beaters. And Stu, I flipped the question to you. Are the Chargers and the Packers frauds?
Ah, I wouldn't say frauds. That's a very harsh word. It's the National Football League.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that's why I love football so much over basketball, because any given Sunday or Monday or Thursday or sometimes Friday, you can get beat. If you go in there, if you think you're the best, and you go in there not preparing to get the other guy's best shot, understand that, hey, they're making millions of dollars just like you. They were the best on their college teams. Yeah, they made, people don't like losing. So you never know when you're going to get punched in the mouth, and you go in there all with the game plan not right, and we're playing the Cleveland Browns. We'll be all right, and that's what happens. And and the scary thing about it is, I'll say with Green Bay, and I respect you guys as head coach, and of course I respect Harbaugh. Former 49ers guy, Michigan guy, love both of those guys, but when that happens, you start looking at coaching, because
Yes, you do.
the
Yeah,
talent.
yeah, that's
You know the
100%
talent.
correct.
You know the talent that's on these two teams, and I would say more of Green Bay to me than the
I would agree
Chargers.
with that as
I'm
well.
like, you lost to the Browns. Now the Browns have a great defense. No question about that. If they ever figure out the quarterback situation, get the offense together, I think the Browns may be a scary team, because their defense is for real. Being the worst team almost every year and always getting the number one draft pick, their defense shows you what that looks like. They got some dogs on the defensive side of the ball. They
Yeah,
just needed to figure out the quarterback position, but they're struggling with that. The best quarterback hasn't played. They did a piss poor job again of how they did this thing. Flacco, he's 40. You got two guys. If you wanted to, it's proper ways and etiquette that they could have done it the right way, but they've been doing a horrible job at that. But as far as the fraud word, I wouldn't say fraud, but I would say hopefully, because I have so much respect for both of those coaches and both of those organizations, is that it would be a wake up call to be like, okay, look, we know just because you're the better team don't mean you're going to win the game. The worst team could win the game. This is not the NBA. You're not doing the best of seven. You go in there and you don't play your best, you're going to lose. And I think hopefully you want that to happen earlier rather than later. You don't want going into November and December having those type of games. You want to have it early, get it out, get it off your chest, get it out your hair, learn from it, and move forward. But I think the Packers, you guys have a great organization. You guys have been making great moves. I think the Chargers will find a way. These are two teams that I personally believe will figure it out the colder it gets, especially in Green Bay. The colder it gets, well-coached teams usually lock in. You may have had a couple bloopers early on in the season, but I think that those coaches will get everyone reeled in and dialed back in to be the teams that we know they can be.
Well, I like what you said a moment or two ago about Harbaugh and LaFleur. This comes down to coaching.
Yeah.
And it comes more on LaFleur in my mind as a Packer fan, even than Harbaugh, because Matt LaFleur now is looking at a team of high caliber talent, and they are the youngest team still in the NFL. But the mistakes are just a reflection of coaching to me. Like Matt, did you see the way they were lollygagging down the last 28 seconds in Dallas? And we were lucky to get out of there. We were on their like 11-yard line with 28 seconds left, and those guys are lollygagging around.
Yeah.
And it's like we have to settle for a tie when we had the game won, and that's coaching, penalties, mistakes over and over again. And I think Matt LaFleur is on the clock. If the Packers don't get it right this year, in my mind, he's got to be gone. I love Matt, but I'm just saying to you, dude, that's just too much talent on that team to keep making these mindless decisions. And I think that's why Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay. He just got tired of LaFleur. It's like, yo, man up, dude. Come on. Anyway, that being said, we are going to look at the Power Five in the NFL. I'm going to start out with the AFC. And the way I've got it, and Caleb, I'll start with you. The way I've got it, I've got Buffalo at 1 and the Indianapolis Colts at number 2, followed by the Jags, the Chargers, and the Steel City. Your opinion?
I like it. I think the Bills, to me, they're one of the better teams in the NFL. They're still that to me even after listening to the Patriots, which the Patriots are not horrible. We laugh at it, but they are 3-2 right now.
Yeah.
And both of their losses, they were close losses. I mean, not to the most quality of teams, being the Raiders and the Steelers, but the Steelers are still in the top 5. If it was up to me, just because of the Patriots win last night, I would put them at the 5.
You would put the Patriots at 5 over Pittsburgh?
I don't know. So something just it convinced me of them.
Okay. Stu, your thoughts on that 5?
To be honest with you, and I know why you had to coach it too because of the record and stuff like that, but I will put Jacksonville above the Colts. I think that Jacksonville has more quality wins than the Colts. If you look at who the Colts are beating, you're like, I want to see y'all play some real teams. Let's see if you can continue this with real teams. We've seen Jacksonville play real teams. We've seen Jacksonville get in the mud. And one of the most impressive things about Jacksonville is the way their defense is playing. I believe they're leading the league in takeaways right now. So, they're playing complementary football because, finally, from an offensive standpoint, they're looking good. They're getting it done. Sunshine is getting it done. And his defense is complimenting him. Defense is complimenting him and getting the ball back and putting it back in his hands. So right now, to me, Jacksonville is a more dangerous team than the Colts. The Colts, I think they're on a fairy tale go around. And then when we start seeing them play some world beaters, some real teams, if they continue to do what they're doing now, I have to get all that egg off my face. But I don't think they are who we thought they were with that. So I would change Jacksonville with that. and I would keep the Patriots at 6 for now because that was a great game. I want to see them do that a little bit more. Pittsburgh, the talent that they have, and the Chargers, we all know. But that's the big. Other than the Colts and Jacksonville switching, I would keep it the same for now. But definitely, my eyes are on, as Caleb pointed out, my eyes are on New England. If they can continue to play ball like that, they can easily creep into this top 5. And my eyes are also on the Colts. Can they continue consistently beating these teams?
Yeah. So I'm going to switch over to the NFC, and my Power 5 reads as follows. I've still got the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia at number 1, followed by the Motor City in Detroit, and then your beloved 49ers, Stu, in San Francisco, followed by the sun-loving Bucks down in beautiful Tampa Bay, and the capital of the country, the Washington Commanders. Caleb, what do you think about that list?
I would just about call that a perfect list.
Okay.
Is it this week or not? It's this week we get to see. The only thing I think I could argue is the Bucks switching with the 49ers. And we'll
interesting, Caleb.
We get to find that out on the 12th. I'm doubting the 49ers just a little bit. We'll see. Is Brock going to be back for that game, Stu?
Of course, they're not putting that information out. To be honest, I hope he's not, because I don't want to put him out there and he's not 100%.
Right.
I know, during the grueling football season, most guys are not going to be 100%. But if we're winning, why put him out there? We don't have to. I think we can beat the Bucks with Mac Jones.
Right.
Potentially, we're getting back George Kittle and a couple of other guys that were out. So I think we'll be ready for the Bucks.
We'll see. I'm really liking the Bucks offense. It's a little bit of bias, down here in Florida, but
I got
you. We'll see. That's the only switch I think I'd make right now.
Okay. Stu, your thoughts on the list?
I like it. I love it. Perfect, in my opinion. I think, to be honest, like I said, people gotta really look at it from this perspective. Those dangerous teams are the teams that find a way to win even when they're hurt. If you go to any one of these teams and you take out the starting quarterback and you take out their starting receiver, matter of fact, take out the starting 2 receivers because both our guys were hurt. Then take out the starting tight end. Then take out the starting defensive player, Nick Bosa, or someone that's starting edge rusher, and you start going down all the finer injuries, and can you still win? Yeah. Most teams can't.
No.
And I know if we're not getting Nick back, he's done for the season, but we're going to get George Kittle back. We're going to get Brandon Ayuk back. We're going to get third and Juwan Jennings back. We're going to get Mustafa, our hard-hitting safety, back. We're going to get some guys back that are pivotal to what we do best. And it's great to know that, hey, you get tired, put your hand up, go on the sideline. These rookies can play. They're getting a lot of playing time now. I think as it goes along, you're going to see who has the deeper bench is going to matter, because when injuries happen, which they do, we just hope they're not serious, like season-ending injuries. We're going to see who can win these games when you're banged up. And I think that's what makes the 49ers dangerous. I think that's what makes Detroit dangerous, because last year when they were fighting injuries, they were still in the thick of things, still winning games. Philly, if Hurts goes out, you can cancel Christmas. It's over for them. And I believe the same with most of these teams, to be honest with you. Who has a backup that can win games? I'm not sure. But the Bucks are a scary team, Caleb, and we get to find out this week who's really the third place team right now.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching KCHFTV.org out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Christ-honoring television. This is the Maurice Brown Show, the NFL edition, talking with Antoine, Stewart, out of Washington, D.C., And my cousin Caleb Lopes, who's a field goal kicker for his high school football team, John Carroll High School down in Fort Pierce, Florida, on the Maurice Brown Show. So let's switch over now, guys, to the NFL Power Rankings top 10, and I have them as follows. Number 1, Philadelphia, followed by the Bronx Mafia in New York, the Buffalo Bills, the Motor City of Detroit at 3, Frisco at number 4, the Colts, number 5, Tampa Bay from, once again, the beautiful Sunshine State of Florida at number 6, followed by another Floridian club called the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then the Chargers come in at 8, Washington from the capital of the nation at number 9, and then my beloved Green Bay Packers at number 10. Caleb, your thoughts on this list?
I think that the first 4 are pretty stable. Other than what we'll say, the first 6, I'd say, are pretty stable. You could switch the Buccaneers and the Colts around if you want to. I personally wouldn't mind. The Chargers and the Commanders. Right now, I think if the Commanders and the Chargers pad it up, I have the Commanders coming out on top.
Well, they just beat them 27-10 this past weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knotted them up pretty good.
Yeah. So that's why I think I'd switch them too.
I actually should have switched those two. It should be the Commanders 8, Chargers 9.
And other than that, I don't have many problems with this list. Before yesterday, I would have argued to put the Bills at the 1, but them losing to the Patriots, you can't really say much. The Eagles are still the champs at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's not much you can change about this list.
Stu, your thoughts on the list?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid list. I agree with the Commanders getting bumped up and the Chargers coming back. They just beat those guys. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sold on the Colts. I don't even think they belong in the top 10. But
wow,
they're winning.
Stu, that's slow, dude. Wow.
Because they're winning. So,
man, dude, come on now.
They're winning. So, but
man, this is personal right here, bro.
No. I'm just saying, have the Colts beat any of these teams on this top 10 list right now? Have the Colts beat the 49ers, the Bucks, the Eagles, the Bills, these teams on this list have faced each other for the most part or face hard competition. I don't know if the Colts, they got that easy schedule that pads it, and then when you got to see some real teams, you get to see what they're made of for real. That's why, but I get it because of their winning while they're there. I don't think the Colts are better than the Packers. I don't. If it was a postseason right now, the Colts versus the Packers, I would put the house on the Packers. Well, not literally, but figuratively, I would.
Hey, listen, I would be with you, but at the present time, they have some they've played I'll say this. You're right. I never thought about the fact that they really haven't played any world beaters yet, other than Denver, and they really should have lost that game. And so everybody else, they weren't. It wasn't stiff competition. So,
right.
But they're 4-1. I'm going to give them their props because they're doing what they're supposed to do. They don't control the schedule, and they're sitting there at 4-1. And the Packers are sitting there looking kind of dumb right now at 2-1-1. We got a lot of time to get some things fixed, but I understand your scrutiny of the Colts. It's valid. It's valid. But that's what we got so far. I'm going to switch the Commanders and Chargers around because the Commanders they did a tap dance on LA, and the Chargers are still a very good team. You can't count anybody out at this point. It's really early in the season.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
have the Ravens here. We don't have the Chiefs here. Do I think they're going to be back? Oh yeah. Lamar and the Ravens are going to be coming back at some point, and the Chiefs are going to be getting Rashid Rice back in a couple of weeks. And so we don't want to write them off. They should have won last night, and they were up 14-0, let the game get away. How they did that, I don't know. But I want to switch gears now and start looking at what we got coming up this weekend. And we're going to start out with Thursday night, where we have the Eagles taking on the Giants at 8:15 p.m. And we thought Jackson Dart was the new guy. If you really look at that game, he did a lot of running and not a lot of throwing against the Chargers, and it was effective enough. And then you get the Saints, and they said he had a hamstring injury, and it affected him after 70 snaps. But he's going to try to play Thursday night. I don't know what to think of Jackson Dart. I think it may be slightly overblown. But tomorrow night, it's the Eagles going to the Meadowlands to take on the Giants. Caleb, your thoughts about the matchup?
I think the Eagles should put a good stomping on the Giants.
Yes. Yes.
That's the thing. They should.
And Stu, I would imagine you would agree with that.
Absolutely.
And so we won't belabor that point any longer. Now, on Sunday morning in London, England, I believe it's going to be the Denver Broncos taking on the hapless Jets at 9:30. We will not belabor that. Good luck, Aaron Glenn. And now, Sunday, later on Sunday at 1 p.m., we have the Cardinals taking on the Colts. Now, here's another game where the Colts are not taking on world beaters. But the Cardinals are dangerous. Do you expect the Cardinals to go into Indy and win that game after the debacle we witnessed? The Cardinals find ways to beat themselves. You don't even have to beat them. They just find ways to beat themselves all the time. I think the Colts are 5-1 here. The Chargers and the Dolphins at 1 should be an easy win for the Chargers. Patriots taking on the Saints. Patriots should bump up to 4-2. I don't even know how the Saints ended up beating the Giants, but they got to win. Cleveland taking on the Steelers. Here comes Aaron Rodgers with his 4th win of the year. They should have no problem at all. Cowboys and Panthers at 1 o'clock. I would expect the Dak Prescott show to continue. Stu, what do you think about this game and the Dallas Cowboys going down to Carolina?
Cowboys should win, but is it a situation that we've seen time and time again where they should win, where they go lay an egg? It happens all the time in Dallas. Panthers are one of those teams to where you really don't want to see them because you know you should beat them, but they're good enough to where they might potentially pull off an upset. They're fighting right now, but I think if Dallas is going to do anything or have any potential of even sniffing the postseason this year, this is a game they have to win.
Yeah, this is a game they have to win. We saw Carolina kind of shock the Dolphins the other day, and they should have lost that game. They won it, and not a team that you can fool around with. You just got to knock them out. And you're right, Dak Prescott has a tendency to kind of throw games away. Seahawks and Jaguars. Now, I think the Seahawks are really good. And the Jags obviously are very good. Caleb, what do you think about this matchup in Jacksonville?
I think this is going to be a very defensive game. 2 of the best defenses in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks pulled it off.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, as we've seen in the past, Trevor, he can get nervous. He can throw picks. He can shut down against better defenses. But as of late, as of how he's been playing, how the offense has been ran, I'm going to go with the Jags. I like how, what's his name, Mr. Duval, Liam Cohen has been coaching the team. He's it looks like he's changed the culture around, and I like what he's doing around there. I'm gonna go with the Jags on this one.
Yeah, I would definitely I would go with the Jags on this. The Seahawks are really good.
Yeah.
Like they really are. And I could see them going down there and winning that ball game. We'll go to the Rams and the Ravens. And by the way, this just in, the Texans just scored again on the Ravens. But anyway, Stu, are you aware of whether or not, are you aware if Lamar is going to be available for this game?
I'm not, but I don't think it matters. I don't
Okay.
think it matters. I think that until the Ravens figure out, first of all, defensively, what the heck is going on?
Yes.
We're used to
Yes.
the Ravens being a stout defensive team and having great defense. And you
Yes.
got teams running up the score on you like that. You
Yeah.
got and then you have Henry who's not getting the ball. So you would think with Lamar being out, Henry would get way more touches. They try to slow it down. So I don't. It's a complete debacle happening over there, and I think Harbaugh, I could say, is extremely close if it hasn't already happened at losing the locker room because the
Wow.
fans are done with him.
Yeah.
Most fans that I know are done with him. So
Yeah. Well, they can't stop anybody. And it's a
yeah,
shame because you have arguably, probably, you could argue when Lamar's in there, best offense in the league. And you can't
yeah.
stop anybody. And you just look at them and you're right. I mean, and that brings on another question. Are we looking at a lost season in Baltimore, Caleb?
You could say that with depending on how long Lamar is out and what how long it takes the defense to figure things out. Because on paper, they have a great defense,
Yeah.
but stepping on that field the past the whole season, honestly, you in the opener, you let the Bills come back on you. I don't know how much they were up. I think they were up 21 points, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
they were up a healthy
A
14
healthy
to 20
amount.
points. Yeah.
Yeah. In the late third quarter, and you let them come back, you make it a game. They score 40 points in an opening night. It's great for fans to watch, but I mean, I would not be so happy if I was a coach. And then in a game where you're starting quarterbacks out, the defense is supposed to hold up, help the offense. You let the Texans, who haven't done really much this entire season, come out and put 44 on you.
Yeah, 44 points.
It's a very bad look. And what it's looking like, yeah, this is going to be a long season, a potentially a rebuild, not necessarily a rebuild, but like a rethinking of what are we doing in Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's it, it's a shame because it looks like when it rains it pours right now in
Yeah.
Baltimore. And this was a team many felt was going to go to the Super Bowl this year. And the season's about to get away from them. And Stu, to your point, fans are starting to get a little tired of John Harbaugh. I mean, he's been such a great coach.
Yeah.
I think that's pushing it. Like, let's give him a break. I mean, this is not what Baltimore normally does. I don't know how it got to this point, but fans are getting tired. At 4:05 on Sunday, we've got the Titans and the Raiders, and I want to throw this to you. Are the Tennessee Titans on the verge of ruining Cam Ward's career? Stu.
It's too early to tell. It's too early to
Okay.
tell. He's a rookie.
Okay.
Um, seems like they're treating him the way he should. He's going to have his ups and downs, his peaks and his valleys. The biggest thing for them is coaching him up. Making sure, especially next year, they do a great job of putting some talent around him. O-line, receivers, making sure the defense is where it needs to be so they can continue the momentum moving forward. Not
Right.
not a horrible team, but they're a young team with a young quarterback who's talented. But I'm not mad at what I'm seeing out of them right now, and I think that they're going to beat the Raiders the way the Raiders have been looking lately. They got some issues going on that side. So
Yeah.
I think this is this is a great week for Cam to show out against a struggling Las Vegas Raiders team who the defense is not looking that great as well.
Well, the coach that was in Las Vegas last year, what was his name again? He was the former linebacker for the Giants. He said that his team was making business decisions. That's what they're doing in Las Vegas with Pete Carroll. It looks like they've decided to make business decisions because they didn't even show up against the Colts. And you mentioned it before, Stu, about and Vegas is a place to where you got to make business decisions, bro. However, when you look at what happened with the Colts, it looks like that Pete Carroll has lost the locker room because there's no way in the world that you're going to tell me that those guys suited up and play football. And we saw them 3 weeks ago where they were very competitive. You look at, oh my gosh, the quarterback, Geno Smith, he's just not getting it done.
Stanking it up.
Huh?
So he's stanking it up.
Yes. And the Raiders have been playing pretty good football. The first, couple of weeks out of the gate, they played some very competitive football and looked like they were going to be in there. But Geno Smith lost a couple of those games, man. And after a while, you start making business decisions. Anyway, Bengals. Yeah, what's up, Stu?
I did want to ask something real quick.
Yes.
What I think was going on and with the Raiders is they're having identity issues.
Okay.
They're having identity issues, and Chip Kelly is not an NFL coach. We've seen the Chip Kelly show in Philly. We've seen it at the 49ers. We've seen he's not an NFL
coordinator in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
And he already had to wipe the egg off his face because he told his running back who he drafted that you can't stand the way you normally stand. And he wasn't playing his best. The one game that he started standing up, he took off. And I'm like, Chip, stop micromanaging guys. And Pete, you're the head coach. Know how to step in and say, hey, Chip, hey, leave my guy alone. Let him stand the way he wants to stand. Look, we drafted him. He stands that way. Let's win some games. Yes. I think they're having some identity issues to where they got to figure out what's going on there. If they can figure that out and get Geno locked in, they could be a decent team. But they got some coaching behind the scenes stuff going on. I think that we're seeing bleed out into the field and in the locker room.
Okay, it's a shame because it looks like their seasons is just about gotten away from them completely. And then we look at the Packers and Bengals at 4:25 at Lambeau Field. You would like to believe that Green Bay is going to come out there and take care of business and end this Joe Flacco show. And then later on, and I think the game of the week, let's be honest here, is going to be, in my mind, the 49ers and the Bucs. The San Francisco 49ers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, surprisingly now, in my mind, have come to be the darlings of the NFC. Like they're looking like the new standard right now as we're 5-6 weeks into the season. We got a long way to go. Oh, yeah. But it looks like the 49ers, a lot of people don't like Baker Mayfield and they don't want to give him his due and his props. And I get it. I'm reluctant to give Baker his props. However, he's balling. And the Bucs are getting it done. And no one saw the 49ers doing what they're doing at 4-1 with a backup. And they got people that are out that are coming back. And they're sitting up there at 4-1. This is a titanic matchup. Stu, I'm going to go to you second. Caleb first. Your thoughts on this matchup in Florida on Sunday?
Oh man, this should be 8:00 game. This is going to be fireworks. You got two hungry teams that are coming in there. As you said, the 49ers are getting a little healthy. Baker Mayfield is balling. Great coaches, great coach team. I'm looking forward to it, man. This is going to be one of those ones to where, you know, whoever wins and loses this game, I don't think it's going to, you're not going to watch this game and say, oh, the 49ers beat the Bucks. Yeah, we can get the Bucks, or vice versa. You're going to say those are two of the best teams in the NFC. And just because they lost to whoever, if you see them on your schedule, you still got to worry because those are the top two teams in the NFC. So I think it's one of those things where, you know, whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, whoever makes that one play in the fourth quarter, is going to come out and win. I think it's going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to the wire.
And by the way, Stu, this is a 425 game. The late game was going to be the Lions and Chiefs, but
they can flex that.
They should flex it. Did they flex? They should flex it.
They should.
Caleb, your thoughts on this matchup, Bucks and 49ers?
We talked about it a little bit before, but I think it's gonna be. I know it's gonna be a great game. It's that type of game, as you said, Stu. It's like you can't name a loser. Whoever comes out, it's gonna be like, ooh, we know we good, but we also need to respect that team because if we see them again, we don't know that we can actually say that we're gonna beat them again. And I think this is gonna be a prequel to a playoff matchup. We're gonna look back on this game in a few months, try to predict what's gonna happen. But as I just said, I think it's gonna be an amazing game. I'm gonna take the Bucks, being a Florida boy, and just hate on Stu a little bit. But y'all got some players coming back. It's gonna be a great game nonetheless. Whoever wins.
That's going to be a really good matchup. Like I said, I think the 49ers winning with Mac Jones, and you're right. I mean, Brock Purdy's toe is just not healthy, so he shouldn't even be out on the field until he's right, because you know you have a guy that can get it done in Mac Jones. So much so, you could argue whether or not he's your starter, but you're not going to bench a guy that you're paying, some $40-45 million a year to play football. You're not going to put him on the bench. But they can both get the job done. Purdy's just not healthy. He's not healthy right now, but he will be later on down the road. So you look at Baker Mayfield and you're like, again, you want to dismiss Baker. I know I do, but I can't because he's handling his business. I mean, every week, it's just coming out there and he's getting it done. And there they are at 4-1 along with the 49ers. And the Eagles, like I said, I mean, they actually should have lost that game. I think they blocked the kick against the Bucks at the end. So anyway, it's going to be a good game. I think that's the game of the week. And later on that night, which beforehand was the game of the week, the Lions and Chiefs. All of a sudden, you look at the Chiefs kind of sideways right now. This is going to be at Arrowhead. And make no mistake, this is going to be a very good game because the Chiefs now are angry. And here comes Detroit from the Motor City riding high at 4-1. With a fearless Dan Campbell, and this is going to be a get down game, and it's a beautifully set up Sunday night game to wrap up the weekend. Now on Monday night, we got another doubleheader. I don't know what is up with these doubleheaders now this year. This is the third doubleheader on Monday night. I don't understand that, but we've got at 7:15 the Bills and the Falcons. And then the Bears and the Commanders, so we get a what do you call that? The Idiot Bowl 2 at 8 at 8:15. But I gotta be honest with you. You look at Buffalo, and they do so many dumb things. They're really lucky to be 4-1, and they do it every year. And we kind of forget how dumb the Bills can be sometimes. This is a game they could lose against Atlanta. Stu, your thoughts?
I wish that the Falcons and the Bears could switch, and it would be the Bills versus the Commanders and the Falcons and the Bears.
Yeah.
But I think the Bills are going to take care of business against Atlanta, and I
Okay.
think the Commanders are going to take care of business against the Bears. But I think between the two matchups, the Bears and the Commanders, I think is going to be a more competitive game because
Okay.
the Bears have been looking decent this year. They've been showing, that they look a little better than last year, and they got some fight in them. So if the Commanders don't come on their A game, Chicago can beat you. You know, they're not the best, but they play competitive football. And but I think both the Commanders and the Bills should walk away with the win. If it was up to us, we could switch it and have the Commanders and the Bills play, but it's not up to us. So, like as you mentioned, we got two games that it is what it is. But I got the Bills and the Commanders winning it.
Well, and I agree with you. I think because of the way the season's going right now, to be totally honest, and Caleb, I don't know if you agree with this. I don't think we've seen any team really stand out to be that team.
Yeah.
That there's flaws here all across the board. And I think if Buffalo because Atlanta, that there's some weeks where Atlanta, they kind of play competitively enough where they can kind of beat anybody on certain and then on other Sundays it doesn't look like they can beat John Carroll High School. But your thoughts, Caleb, on Buffalo going to Atlanta? Is there a potential for an upset in Atlanta?
My thing with Buffalo, they play up and they play down to their opponents.
Yeah.
And it catches up to them.
Yeah.
It caught up to them last week or last night.
It did.
And I think they will come into this game. Hopefully it'll be a mindset switch to not do that. But we've seen it the past, I'd say, 2 to 3 years where they like skimming by. They like making things interesting. They don't like boring for some reason. So I wouldn't count the Falcons out. I do think the Bills will come out on top nonetheless. But I don't see it being a blowout game.
No.
And the Bears versus the Commanders. Caleb Williams,
matchup. I think
he's had his flashes, but I think the Commanders can make this a blowout game.
Yeah, I mean, the chances of Caleb Williams going in there and beating the Commanders in DC, no, it's not going to happen. So, with that being said, guys, we are going to step on out of here. And like I said, on Thursday night, we got a great matchup, on tap, which kick off week 6 as we are looking at the Eagles and Giants. Is actually not a great matchup. Jackson Dart was overblown, and I think the Eagles are going to finally pick him up and sit him down where he belongs. And we can move on from that nonsense. But the Eagles have got to start giving Saquon Barkley the ball. Just stop playing around. Just give the ball to Saquon and go win the Super Bowl. Because if they keep doing that, nobody's going to beat the Eagles. I hope they got that memo. Anyway, that being said, we're going to step out. I want to thank kchftv.org for having us on. And shout out to my two good friends here, Antoine Real Stewart and Caleb Lopes, for being on the show. Thanks a lot, guys. And may the peace of Jesus Christ continue to be with you and your families. God bless you.